today's video, we're making some focaccia bread. Now, first step you're gonna need is some water, and I will put in the description box all the measurements instead of just, saying it. But you need some water and you need some yeast, and you need that water to be warm, not too hot, so it'll kill the yeast. Then once when you add your yeast in your warm water, you're gonna mix in like a tablespoon of flour. This is just to double check and make sure that the yeast is blooming. So set that off to the side. And then next, we're going to get our dry ingredients. So I'm going to measure out some flour, very meticulously measure out flour. No, I'm going to dump it out. But yeah, you're going to need a lot of flour. And again, I'll have the measurements in the description. And then you're going to add your salt to the dough. You want your dough to be well seasoned. So don't be shy. Make sure you season it. And then here's the yeast. You can see it looks all gross. Like, I don't even know, like ectoplasm. It's nasty. But once when it looks like that, you know that your yeast is yeasting. So add that along with some olive oil, and then I'm just gonna stir it around with a spoon. And at this stage, like you're not really gonna have to knead it out or anything. There's a special focaccia bread technique I'm going to show you, but you just want it to get, together in a ball. It's going to be all sticky and not great. It's just going to break apart and stuff. But just trust me. Trust me on this one. Be patient. And then I let it risen for half an hour. You can see it's kind of, puffed up. And then I got my hand, I just dipped it in some water. This is the technique. You're going to stretch it and fold it over onto itself. And what does it do, you may be asking yourself? I'm not exactly sure, but it helps make the dough, you know, kind of come together more and it gets more pliable. I guess I do know what it does, but yeah, you can kind of see it's like breaking apart and stuff. Yeah, basically you're going to go in like intervals of like half an hour of letting it rest and stretch and fold. Do it a couple times. Do it on all sides. See, here's I think the second or third time you can see it's like more pliable. I think you just have to do it a couple times, 'cause it's like a sphere. You can't really do all sides unless you want to do this like an infinite amount of times. But, that's up to you. I ain't got time for that. But yeah, this whole stretch and fold over each other process I did in intervals of I did like four stretch and folds and then let it rest for half an hour and then do four more. I did that like 4 or 5 times. But it's a good technique. So you can see now after I've done it quite a few times, it's a lot more pliable. And then you're going to get a 9 by 13-inch baking dish. Be very generous with the olive oil. This is, you know, basically olive oil bread anyway. But yeah, at this stage, when you're kind of shaping it into the pan, it's like the pizza dough recipe, you're shaping it out. You're not going to be able to get it to stretch all the way to the pan. If you try, it may be futile and you may not have a good time. You just got to be patient. It's a lot of rising and a lot of waiting with this dough, but it's easy. So, that's nice. But yeah, as you can see, once when you got the shape, and I let it rise, I think like another half hour, 45 minutes, and it filled up the pan. So that's nice. And then I kind of deflated it a bit, poked some holes with, well, not holes, little dimples with my hands, fingers. And then you're going to take some water and some olive oil. This is an interesting. It's kind of an optional step, I think. You could probably just put olive oil on top of it, but you're gonna take water and olive oil and you're gonna whisk the crap out of it for like minutes. This is really sped up, but yeah, like literally like 2 or 3 minutes. and this will get all emulsified. It honestly, like, it looks like egg. It's kind of weird. But I think what this helps it do to the bread is like the water kind of soaks into the bread and the olive oil stays on top. So it kind of, gets dispersed everywhere. And then when you're about to bake it, you can kind of put whatever you'd like on it. I'm putting some flaky salt. Definitely got to put flaky salt. I feel like that's not optional because the salty, flaky salt is just very good on the bread. And I have like some oregano and herbs and some garlic powder. Well, folks, I once again forgot to film me putting stuff in the oven because I'm a goofball, goofy goober. But anyway, you're going to want to let it bake in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit till it's nice and brown on top. May depend on your oven, how long you need it in there. But then you're going to take it out. I recommend putting it on a wire rack. It will cool down a lot faster so you can eat it faster because that's why you're making this, right? To eat it, you know? So do that. Make yourself a sandwich. This is really good, really easy recipe. Oh, yes. Well, folks, thanks for watching. Do make this recipe. Highly recommend. Make it for your friends, your family, your dog. I don't care. Just do it right